Hello, friends, and welcome to today's edition of God to You. With your host, Reha, today we're going to discuss tattooing and piercing. But first, the news. Tattoos. Tattoos might be more common than ever, but don't take tattooing lightly, especially when it comes to our next story, Eric Hartsburg. Campaign season is over, and it seems as if the biting battle between presidential candidates Barack Obama and Mitt Romney has faded away. Not for everyone. Eric Hartsburg, who got the Romney R logo tattooed on his face for an eBay bid of $15,000, will have a constant reminder of his losing candidate probably for the rest of his life. But Hartsburg said that's fine with him. He says he's college educated, and I'm not an idiot. Hartsburg, a professional wrestler, told ABC News getting the tattoo was a decision that I made and that I'm cool with. So when he was asked how he felt about having a losing candidate's logo permanently stamped near his right temple, Hartsburg said, joking, "Wait, did the election already happen? Did Romney lose?" Hartsburg, who's 30 years old, who got that tattoo after auctioning off the prime real estate on his face, said, "Of course I am disappointed about the election results. I wanted Romney to win, obviously, but I'm proud of the voters and the record turnout in certain places. And most of all, I'm proud of the effect that I made." Dear Izzy G, I have several tattoos and would like to get some piercings. Why do people choose to pierce their sex organs? Dusty. That's a very good question. Just as some people get their ears pierced, Dusty, and you listeners out there, others choose to pierce their genitals and nipples with jewelry. There are different reasons why people make the decisions to pierce their genitals. They believe that piercings are a unique way of expressing and affirming their sexuality. But no matter what the reason it may be, it's extremely painful. There's several weeks of recovery time, and it also can expose you to many, many risks, such as HIV, genital warts. So it's very, very risky and dangerous as well.
You know, tattooing is considered self-mutilation, as are piercings. Both are considered self-mutilation and self-disfigurement, and both are a harm to health. Self-mutilation is a sin against the body. Some body piercings verge on self-mutilation. At least multiple body piercing is self-inflicted abuse. It is a form of self-hatred and self-rejection that motivates someone to pierce themselves or decorate themselves in a hideous and harmful fashion. The human body was not made to be a pin cushion or a mural. As Izzy mentioned to the person who wrote us with a question, there are certain harms to health associated with tattoos and piercings. Doctors have spoken publicly on this health issue, and researchers at numerous universities have reported on harm to health caused by tattoos and body piercings. Some earrings on the navel, tongue, or the upper ear are unhealthy and cause infections or lasting harm, such as deformities of the skin. They can also poison the blood for some time and do not close, ever, even when the object is removed. Such body piercing, therefore, is on the immoral side, since they should not endanger our health without a reasonable motive. Some have hoped to avoid health dangers by getting henna tattoos, which are painted or rather than done with needles. Henna staining is an ancient Hindu wedding custom of painting floral designs on the feet and hands. A German medical association report this year found that tourists returning home with hennas done in Bali and Bangkok, among other places, were going to the doctor because of severe skin infections and sometimes lifelong allergies. In some cases also, the coloring agent used meant that the tattoo faded away, but after several weeks of skin irritation, the design reappeared in the form of a reddish tattoo, often very painful for the patient. Allergies developed from 12 hours to a week after the application of the henna, causing intense itching, redness, blistering, and scaling. Many times people get tattoos because they have a desire to shock and repel. It can be appropriate to shock people, as for example, when one recounts the plight of poor and hungry people, or protests against crime and terrible exploitation. This can be a healthy thing when done properly and with due care to arouse people out of complacency, but so that they realize something must be done. But to shock people for the thrill of shocking people with no intention to promote truth and goodness is not a virtue, but a sign of a perverted sense of value. In evaluating tattoos under the heading of repulsiveness, we look at the nature of the images, the size and numbers of tattoo, and their place on the body. Indecency and irreverence are always displayed in many tattoos. Did you know that employers and principals have rules outlawing tattoos and piercings? For instance, in many corporations, if a person has pierced ears, they are not eligible to move up the corporate ladder. Piercings and tattooing create, shall we say, a glass ceiling for many people, and it prevents them from earning a better pay by moving up in their corporations. Though earrings are prevalent among females and are minorities among males, they are still prohibited and looked down in several large corporations when a person advances up the corporate ladder past a certain point. The worst reason for getting a tattoo is vanity. Some men in particular tattoo their upper and lower arms in order to be ostentatious and impressive. It is a means of drawing attention to themselves. No one who meets them can fail to notice the tattoo, to the point at which it is a fact of constant distraction. It detracts from the person and focuses attention too much on the body's external appearance. The same can be said for a stud on the tongue, a ring in the nose, and earrings all over one's ears and eyebrows. These are not part of our culture. At most, they are part of a certain subculture, a minority affectation devoid of positive social significance. No one is saying it is wrong to dress up, but here it is a question of moderation and discretion. Young people can hardly justify the big expenditure, not to mention the pain involved in tattooing and piercing. It is also unjustifiable and just plain silly to mark one's body for life with images of no great worth or with the name of one's current lover. A recent example I heard gives the idea of the time and expense. A young girl had one arm tattooed up and down. It required 2 4-hour sessions and cost $1,000. Tattoos are more serious than other adornments since they are more or less permanent marks on the body. Many a man or woman have been tattooed gladly in youth but regretted it not so many years later when they came to regard it as an embarrassing disfigurement. Once they mature, they pay dearly for the luxury of getting rid of it. The removal of tattoos is expensive and difficult and can leave scars. The removal of big tattoos requires surgery under a general anesthetic, with all the potential risks plus the significant medical and hospital costs. The removal of large tattoos can leave big segments of skin permanently disfigured or blotched, like skin that has been burned. Many adults find themselves ineligible for some jobs because business will not employ them with their hands covered in tattoos, impossible to conceal years after their youthful follies. I have a tendency to take the position that tattooing and piercings should not be done and should be avoided. I know that it goes without saying that for young people today, tattooing is the in thing to do. There is no doubt that more than ever there are people with tattoos in our culture. This does not make it right. Getting a tattoo might or might not be immoral. However, it is absolutely morally safe to refrain from getting a tattoo. So, as your guide to use, I would play it safe. I would probably refrain from getting a tattoo at least until I was 21 and could think about it some more. And this concludes our show for today. I hope you can join us next time. Easy?
Thank you for listening to Guide to Youth with Reha, your host. I'm Izzy G. Please tune in next time on Blog Talk Radio. And thank you, as always, for listening.